Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast. I am Michael, and today I'm going to do an unboxing of the Invisible Sun RPG. Yes, this is an RPG that's been out for like 3 years now, but I just got a copy, so I thought it'd be fun to go through it on camera, see what all's in there, and maybe show it off a little bit in case someone out there hasn't yet seen it. So the setup's a little bit weird, so please bear with me, but let's get this open. Let's get started. All right. So I've opened obviously the top flap, but that is as far as I've gone. I'm going to start by rolling it over. Okay, I'll tell you it's a heavy sucker. All righty. Gotta give McG credit. They don't skimp on the packing materials, that's for sure. Okay. So here we have our first look at the black cube. I believe this is upside down. Let me That wasn't so difficult now, was it? Okay. So again, so here we have the black cube. Let me move my mouse out of the way. All right. So the way the black cube opens is like this. There we go. Probably would be better to have this turned around this way. So I don't know if you can see that. There is, oh, well, that was dumb. The path, I believe this is the path of the sun, or actually, I don't know what that is. It's some sort of symbology for the game, but I don't actually know. So this, again, this is how the black cube works. Obviously, I'm facing the wrong way, so I'm going to come around and see what I can see on this other side. So a whole bunch of stuff just sort of spilled out of this bottom pocket here. So I'm just going to start with all of this stuff. Okay. So I don't know if this is actually the order it was supposed to be in because it kind of fell out, but we'll take a look at it in this order. So the first thing I can see here all right, so give me 1 second. Let's do this. So now that you've seen kind of how this works, oh. Aha, I can move this away just for a little bit, put this stuff back, and then maybe actually show some stuff to the camera. So these cards, they look to be about 5 inches by 5 inches. On the front side, they have this symbol, and they all say Omega Vance spell. Don't know what any of that means. On the back side, a couple of them are blank. Others have spell descriptions. So this one is Yavkum's Conclave Difficulty, the spell of reciprocal apotheosis. I'm from Kentucky, but forgive me for the mutilated pronunciations. Aura Bavin's Brazen Forbiddance, Jermgon's Opalescent Knowledge. And all these look to be a level 9 or 10, nope, level 8. So I'm guessing these are powerful spells. I don't yet know the purpose for them being on here because, again, I've never played this game or opened it before. So we're learning together. Okay, so we have an envelope here that is sealed with wax, and it has that same symbol in it that we saw on the top of the cube. And it says secrets envelope. Do not open unless you are the GM of a current Invisible Sun narrative. Hopefully someday, but not today. But pretty cool. Alrighty. Next we have, it's called the Guiding Hand, and this is like a 9x4 spiral bound notebook. And just a quick look in the inside, it says this notebook is for Invisible Sun game masters. The hope is that it will help you organize all the various information needed to manage the PCs, character arcs, NPCs, places, and events that occur in a narrative. So on the front pages, we have basically boxes for you to fill in information about the characters. So their name, their role-playing style, a character sentence about them, and then some notes. And it looks like we have space for 5 characters. Then there's just some open pages for various notes. And then we have session notes. So the date, the character arcs that are in play, any names for this session, story notes. And some of these are actually filled out already. So I don't know if these are just examples of what you would use it for, or if these are prompts to help you as the GM kind of role play and do some improvisation. So yeah, so we just have a bunch of session notes, and on the other page is long-term notes. So I guess this is what happened this session, and this is some things that might carry over to future sessions, like NPCs that were met, maybe people that were pissed off, fell in love, hints, foreshadowing, that kind of thing. So that's kind of neat. All right, and then we have this GM's envelope. GM's envelope. Let's see here. All right, so these appear to be some NPCs. So these are various little sort of glossy paper character sheets. It looks like these will be NPCs because they've already got names and information filled out about who they are, meaningful items, their abilities, some secrets. So we have Omar Vanderall, the Red Shaper, Palom, who has the head of an open book. So that's unique. That's not something I'm seeing every day. Again, if you know anything about Visible Sun, then you already know a little bit more than me. That kind of fits into the style and atmosphere of this game. And then we have the grimoire for the various NPCs, what spells they know. All right. Then we have a page on the first session. So I'm guessing this again is prompts for how to get the session started. Then we have some stories, which I guess look like game prompts, magical flux effects, and then levels of different effects. So a bunch of NPCs and then some charts and various information that a GM might need for running the game. Again, I just got to say the quality of all these components, very high. This is sort of a higher cost game, sort of. You know, I think it was around $300 for the entire cube and everything that comes in it. But if you think about what it would cost to buy the core books of most role-playing games, let's just start with D&D. And let's assume we're not getting off Amazon because you can't get this off Amazon. You're paying full retail for the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the DMG. That's right around $150. And then for all the other things that you get with this, I think it's comparable. You know, it seems expensive because it's like buying it all at one time versus piecemeal. But certainly this isn't something that like every gamer that wants to play can just go out and buy. but I also don't think it's crazy expensive. Like some people have said that they thought the price point was prohibitive to a lot of different gamers getting involved. Maybe, but again, if you have a group of players who want to play this, you have 3, 4, or 5 players, everybody throws in, 30, 40 bucks. There you go. You can buy it and you can have it. Then we have a player's envelope. And this appears to be some blank character sheets. That lighting's terrible. You can't see this, but basically it's similar to the character sheets I just revealed, but these are not filled out. These are blank so that you could use them for your own characters. There's various different styles, and again, I don't know what the difference between them is other than just aesthetically, because like this character sheet and this character sheet look very different on the front. So I don't know if this is just a stylistic choice or if this is like different types of characters. I don't know that the game has classes necessarily, but there might be different aspects or such that would cause you to require different information on your character sheet. There's a character creation reference card, and there's some rules references. So again, GM has their envelope, players have one for themselves. What's next? All right, we have a map. Appears anyways. Yep. So it's a double-sided, full-color, glossy map. Ooh, try not to damage it. On this side, it says under the indigo sun. And on the back side, I believe this is what they call the path of the sun. There are various phases of the sun. I have no idea what that means. I just know I have seen reference to it in other things. I believe that where the sun is has some sort of mechanical effect, certain spells, certain abilities, that kind of thing. But I don't actually know because I haven't had a chance to read any of this yet. Oh, this would have been helpful. This is basically probably what should have been on top. It's the you've now summoned the black cube, so behold its treasures. And it looks like it's probably an overview of all the stuff that would be inside here. So I'm gonna set that one aside. We have a pull tab of a bunch of grimoire sheets. So basically these are the spell books. This is a tear pad of all the various ones. So these will go with your character sheets. So you would be able to write down what spells you know. Alrighty. This is the art of the invisible sun, and it's just a bunch of color images that help sort of sell the tone and ambiance of the game. It's kind of weird, but that's what they're going for. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. And so this is a thing that me personally, I would never buy this on its own. But the fact that it's included in this is kind of cool. This is a sort of thing that you could just use to inspire an adventure. You just flip through and go, oh, that's a kind of a cool image. Maybe I can use that. Or you also can use it for place setting for your players. You could show them a picture and go, like, this isn't exactly what you see, but this is sort of what you see. This is the feeling that I want you to get in the place that you're at. And I think that's really cool. All right, we have some bookmarks here. So there's just a couple different bookmarks, got quotes on one side and it looks like some references on the other. So like the key, which I believe is one of the books I'm about to look at, character creation steps, skills, Vance, maker. So it's kind of like the index of, or table of contents of what's in the book. So maybe like a quick reference as well as actually being a bookmark that you can use. All right, so the first book here on top is called The Key. I like that. Black paper, it looks awesome. All right, so the key. This is a book for players and game masters. It starts with the alchemy of lies and truth. And then it goes on to basically how you build your characters. There's statistics, the orders that you can play, and a whole bunch of other information I don't yet understand. All right, then we have The Gate. This is a book for game masters. So I'm guessing this is sort of like the DMG. The table of contents includes gameplay, actions, advanced rules, game mastering, and the Seuss deck. It also has the table of contents for the other books, including the Key, the Way, and the Path, which again, I believe that's what these books are, correct? Which actually simple, but kind of a cool thing. I'm sorry, I keep looking up because my monitor's right there. That's where I can see me, but the camera is right there. So it's going to take me a while to get used to that. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool to have the table of contents of the other books, since this is the Game Master's book. And if someone's looking for a reference, it's just a little bit easier for you to have your book and go, oh, you want The Way, page 58. It's a simple thing, but it's really smart. Yeah, here's that. I want to say lady, but there's a good chance that it's not actually a female because I don't know how this works. But her head is an open book. I wonder if that's a metaphor, like Taserface. It's a metaphor. I love that movie. So yeah, so this is basically how you run the game. The Path. This is also a book for game masters. Includes precepts, the Path of Suns, the City of Satyrine, Fart Town, sure, organizations, and then inhabitants of the actuality. And it also, again, includes a table of contents for the other books of these four. And then we have The Way, a book for players and game masters. It includes The Way of Magic, magical practices, spells, matrices, weaver threads, goetic summoning, ephemera, probably pronouncing that wrong, objects of power, and the changeries. So it looks to be like this is a book that talks about the sort of the science behind the magic of the game, how it works, the different abilities or different types of magic, and how you would use those in the game. All right, so those are what I believe are the four core books that make up the Invisible Sun role-playing game itself. And then there's a few more goodies inside the black cube here. I'm going to see if I can open it where it's at and see what's inside here. Aha. All right. Oh, nope. There we go. So all of this stuff came from this cavity here, but there's two different pull drawers. We'll start with the middle one. So we'll basically be moving up. There we go. Whew. This thing is packed to the gills. Oh, a little bit of damage there. I think that's why it caught us folded. This is called the props envelope. So this appears to be like a menu that you would have at a restaurant, perhaps inside the game, with various descriptions and prices. Kind of weird. Here's another one for like a cafe. So obviously, again, these are props. These are things that you can physically hand your players to help immerse them in the atmosphere of the game. So here's the Far Pyramid Theater. It's a flyer for a show that they might actually attend. Here's a reward poster for Arcala Vandavon, 5,000 crystal orbs reward. Zeros, looks to me like maybe like a nightclub. And I don't know what this is. Looks like maybe like a bookstore of some sort or something. I don't know. So Let's see here. All right. And then we have, this appears to be letterhead from the Order of the Vance with an address of the location of the building, 101 Everin Road, Fartown, Satterine. So you could write official letter memos to your players, to your characters about the world. Oh. There's also, looks like there's some postcards inside of at least wish you were here. Let's see if maybe there's more in there I might have missed. Yep, there's more in here I missed. All right, so we've got sort of like a playbill, a vineyard, bookstore, a rail system for travel. And again, these are just the sort of things that, like if you go on vacation and you're in the lobby of your hotel and they have that rack of all the different, you know, like world's largest ball of yarn, the caves you can explore, all that stuff. That's the sort of thing that you could hand to your players and let them physically see that they exist, which again, kind of cool. Oh. Alrighty. Make sure I put those up later. All right, so the rest of this, we have some dice. So this is 4 10-side dice, 3 of which appear to be the same color, sort of a red, and then another one that's sort of black and blue. We have our Sooth deck, which is a deck of circular cards. We have some smaller versions. These are beta Vance spells, excuse me. Where these larger ones are the Omega. These are the beta. Again, a couple of them are blank. I'm going to bet if I open these up that some of them also have spells. Yes, some of them have actual spells. No, that's terrible. My apologies. This one is In the Grip of the Darkening Beast. It's a level 5. A creature within short range suffers 1 anguish and is struck blind until that damage is recovered, and it has a color of red. And here's a blue one. A Thorassal's Vaporous Coercion, level 5. I weaken the will and resolve of those close to me as I emit a blue mist from my body. The mist gives creatures an irrational fear and dread, reducing their resist defense as well as their resistance to conventional intimidation by 2. And then lastly, here's one that's color of the gold, level 4. Abra's Physique. The person I touch becomes tougher and hardier. They gain 3 Benny to their physical pool. All right, all right. So again, looks like sort of a version of spell cards, some of which are blank. I'm going to assume that means that at some point in the game you can create your own spells and discover them. There's a deck of cards called Weaver Aggregates. All right, so yep. The back's all the same. They all say Weaver Aggregates, and it has this sort of like a flame to me, but not necessarily. Almost also, it kind of has like a resemblance, almost like a face, like a demon eyes with flames coming up. But could be more abstract than that as well. Hard to say. And on the back, we have a bunch of titles like The Woods, Winter, Wind, The Tower, Thunder, The Sea, Infinity. And for example, for freedom, freedom is the movement and joy we seek when our shackles are finally gone. Default duration is 1 round, default range is near, and the qualities include escape, movement, destruction, joy, distant sight. Absences are imprisonment, despair, and structure. I have no idea what these are about yet. My guess is that there's aspects in the game, maybe schools of thought when it comes to magic, and maybe it's when you're trying to create your own spells, or within within the game, if you're trying to maybe improvise a spell, it just gives you some directions on, you know, if you're casting this type of spell. It's like from D&D, if you're casting necrotic spells, what does that kind of mean? Like all necrotic spells should have certain elements that are similar, but that is just a guess. All right, then we have these circular cards. They all have question marks front and back. My guess is in somehow these cover the suits deck to conceal what's underneath until to be revealed later. Oh, and we got some alpha spell cards. Again, blank, so I'm gonna guess some of the others have spells on them. We have a cloth. So this is a cloth version of that, again, Path of the Sun. That's on the map. What's the chances I'm ever going to get this folded back the same way? 0. And we have another cloth map. All right, so basically it's the same. Oops. Yep. So that poster map we saw earlier. Nope, actually this is different because this is not the Indigo Sea. This is Saturn, the city of notions, but it's a cloth map of a location. Again, I'm going to try and fail to fold those up correctly later. All right, we have some cards here, gamma spells. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 decks of cards. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there we go. All right. So we have 5 decks of cards that have sort of a greenish tint to the cover. Doesn't look green there, but trust me. And they all say spell deck. And on the back, I'm sorry about that light. I know you can't read that. It's basically spells. So again, here's some blank ones, probably make your own. This one says soul consumption, or excuse me, compulsion. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ephemera objects. Then we have 4, and these are sort of reddish colored, called incantations. And I would say the ephemera objects are kind of an orangish color. Again, I don't actually know what all this means yet. But once again, and the quality of these components, pretty outstanding. Though I would have liked the case to be just a smidge thinner, or maybe on either side here have one of those little indents for my thumb, because as you could tell, it was pretty hard to get these suckers out. Also, I'm notorious for sleeving all my cards, and there's no way that they would fit in here sleeved. In fact, I can't. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get that back in there. Whew. All righty. So yeah, I'm gonna. Oh no, I'll work on the map later. All right, and then our final. Our final tray. And I don't want to. Oh man, this thing is thick. Oh. Okay. So here, this shelf has a foam covering. Aha. Because with inside, we have the palm. I think there's actually a different name for it. I remember seeing something like this on the Kickstarter. Essentially, it's a hand with 6 fingers. Good to know. And there's this sort of slit molded into it. I'm sure you can see the gap. And what I believe is this actually holds some of the cards. There's an aspect of the game where you have this on the table, and you can put one of the cards in there and it holds it for a specific purpose. We have a bunch of wooden cubes, purple and gray varieties, and we have more cards. These are all blue tinted, and these are objects of power. blank. Aha. So on the back of this one, level 2, splint sheer. I can read. Can't look at the right camera though. Splintered gold shirt, level 2, form, shirt of woven sparkling splinters. The wearer gains 3, I'll pronounce it Benny, in interaction and 1 vex in movement. Color is blue. Conventional price is 2 gems. Slaughter sword, level 6, form, one-handed sword with a blade of red glass. The wielder gains 1 scourge in accuracy when they first pick up the sword. After they use it to kill a living creature of at least level 2, the scourge is removed and the wielder instead gains +2 to all attacks when damage with the sword. When the sun next rises, the scourge returns and the bonuses fade away until the wielder uses the sword to kill again. Only by discarding the sword while the bonuses are in effect can a character break out of the cycle. So basically magic items and a bunch of them. So what I do like is very likely I will take this giant hand and do something else with it, and then be able to use this box to hold a bunch of other things, because again, I probably will never be able to get those maps folded correctly on the other side. And oh yeah, oh. There we go. Never claimed to be smart. Okay, so let's see if I can get this back in here. All right, and then all of this wonderful stuff. Oh, all right. I do not think I'm going to be able to get all this stuff back in here. Also sounds like my table is got an upset stomach. I don't know if that's going to get picked up on the microphone or not, but it's like going. I think I need to tighten the legs or something. All right, one more time. And oh, there we go. Okay. Great television, right? Aha. Yeah, I might figure out the rest of this later. But anyways, thank you for watching, if anyone did. If you've played Invisible Sun and would like to comment on all the things I didn't know and let me know, that would be great. I do plan on trying to get this to the table at some point in the near future, so that I'll actually know a little bit more about what it's about. But I also got it for Catacon, which is a gaming convention I run in November in Dayton, Ohio every year. So it'll be basically available for people to check out and peruse at the convention. So even if I never actually get around to using it, it does have a purpose. So thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We don't have nearly the polish as some of the other channels, but we try to bring you honest content, honest opinions, and just the positivity of let's just have fun. And so if that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. So thanks. See you next time.